Picking up where we left off last time, but now we have the opal completely dry. By drying the opal, it's a lot easier to see cracks and inclusions inside the gem. One thing I have noticed, although the colour is brighter on this side, there's sand here that actually dips well into the opal. You can kind of see it under the layer if the camera can focus, but just beyond that black pen mark there, you can see the sand is dipping in by a good couple of mil. So let's say, for example, for those that are interested in knowing about the sort of the theory behind cutting opal, if I want a finished gem, I can't have it too thin. And if I'm going to make this another couple mil short, I'm going to have quite a thin opal. Whereas if I cut it from this side, I can almost neglect that point of sand. It's not likely to be seen through the opal, so it might be a good idea to cut it from this side instead. Sure, I'm going to end up with a less bright gem, but after trimming this side away, imagine we then have quite a large piece to play with. And if we want to, we can follow the idea of slicing along here perhaps, to save some of this bright play of colour down there, and see what we can cut out of the top instead. It's important now, if I show you, by wetting the opal up and giving it the illusion that it has its final polish. This sand spot that I had an issue with, it can't be seen from this side, and that's important to take into account. So I can save the width of the opal, I can save the depth of the opal by cutting it from this side. Problem is, undulating face. I think it's worth me just going straight over to the wheels now, trimming this side away on the wheels, just grinding it all away because it's far too thin to do anything with it, and begin to sort of smooth out this edge at least. See what sort of colour we have going, see if this sand comes out the surface, and we'll go from there. But of course, we've got to make a coffee first. Annoyingly, the footage from my intro that I filmed yesterday has been corrupted, so I'm going to have to do it again. I'm going to introduce to you the new microphone that I've bought. We all know what it looks like, so I'm not going to say it out loud, but hopefully this is an improvement to the audio and allows me to do some interesting sound clip shots, like ASMR type things, who knows. So yeah, I filmed this intro a day later than I filmed the rest of the video. But you won't know that until I leave it in the editing. I think that's what people do to sync up the sound, so that's going to be a learning curve. But in terms of that ASMR, I have absolutely no idea how good that sounded. So if it was really terrible, I apologise. I really hope this is good because I'm banking on filming the entire video using this. So if our fingers are crossed. Anyway, on with the coffee. Now I know this noise isn't pleasant. Smells good though. Right, let's bring this into focus. Oh, look at that. Serious job, you know. Cheers. Don't know why I'm so low down in the camera. I've made like a cappuccino, you know. It's, lots of froth, a little bit of coffee. Like it's cappuccino without the Italian accent. Do you know what I mean? Like it's close enough. Anyway, cheers. That does taste good, you know. That is. I never fail to impress myself. So as described, I'm going to take off that very thin edge. This doesn't take much work, but obviously I'm not going to rush it because I don't want to take away too much of the stone that's unnecessary, before then moving on to cleaning up around the edges. I've mentioned many times before, I don't want this to be some super intricate carving. I want it to be just a nice pleasing shape because they sell easier. So taking out those pitted and undulated edges is absolutely necessary. And obviously, as mentioned, I need to take out that sand that's in the top of the opal that I want to make the face, for example, and the top of the cabochon. So it's just about rolling it, making sure the sand's coming out nice and slowly. I'm trying out a new camera angle here. Nothing intricate. I've just got the camera pinned in between my legs in the tripod, so I can actually have almost like a POV shot. I think it looks quite good, so let me know what you think. We're taking a quick break here to to analyse the opal under a light so we can see exactly where the sand goes. I think I'm going to have to prioritise the edge that I've been smoothing out. It looks like this sand down the side will come out just a little bit further. If we see just down the side, it kind of looks like it's just on the top there. Whereas if I was to flip it over, using the torch, you can see that the sand goes a lot further in. So it's safer and smarter for me to go and cut a gem out of here, turn the light onto the opal. You can see here, the colour play has definitely improved. There's that distinct black line running straight down the middle just past my thumb. I think it's worth me slicing along there and then going for a stone either side. They won't be a matching pair because the one on the right has clearly some red and orange in there if I'm able to save it. But still, 2 stones, hopefully you're sitting at about a carat each, will do me well. So here we are back at the cabbing machine, continuing to take the sand out of that edge. And obviously, that potch in the top needs to go as well. So it's time to whittle that away. I'm not too sure what's underneath, but I wasn't banking on anything amazing happening because it just looked like that the sand or the dent, whatever you want to call it, whatever word you want to use, it looked like it went in quite far, so I didn't really expect much of this. However, we have quite the surprise coming up. You can see it's cleaning up quite nicely. So I'm being a bit more careful because this isn't really what I expected. I thought that big red blob in the middle would go in quite far. And it's starting to reveal a really nice red and green flash on top. Certainly a surprise. And just with a couple more touches of the wheel, this happens. Now look at that. An orange, red and green colour play, so bright the camera struggles to focus on it. Now, it's an absolute miracle that I own this lucky hat, and it's a good thing I was wearing it, because this stone has just done a complete 180. It's gone from being a nice crystal opal, just nice, it's pretty, to now being absolutely phenomenal. I've just had to stop cutting because I know sometimes I get too excited with things and I get carried away and I'm likely to, I don't know, do something. God knows what I would have done. Probably just cut the gem. But as the self-proclaimed master of suspense, you're gonna have to wait for part 3. I'm gonna give you a close-up now of what this opal has just turned into. An absolute red crystal masterpiece. This is the gem we were working with before. I've taken the grey potch off the top, and it didn't go as far in as I suspected it would. It kind of shallowed out very quickly, and as a result has left us with this gorgeous crystal sat on top, with a nice red and green colour play. Now you can see, we know that this piece has formed very distinct colour bars, and if you take a look at the right angle you can see that red colour bar just on the top. If I can save that, this opal has just shot up in value and it's opened up a lot more options for me to cut. The opal is dry right now. If I wet it up to give you an idea as to what it'll look like when it's polished, look how bright that red is. The camera can't even focus on it. Bright red orange, colour on top of colour, all angles, lots of different colours. It's phenomenal. And the best part is, drying it up again so I can draw on it, I've kept enough thickness to play with. So I could slice all the way around, all the way through, keeping this nice thick underbelly to give us a bright orange red crystal on top. This parcel has really done a 180 now. To think we've had loads and loads of sand, some mid blue green gem has turned into something really, really spectacular. It's going to take a lot of my experience to make sure I can keep that colour, but I think I've got it in the bag. Next plan, and this is the final plan, we slice, save this gem on top, and with what's left, which will be about here, I'll probably have to bring it in to where this dead zone is. There's a complete dead zone through the middle, as you can see. Take it through down to the dead zone and have this sort of multicoloured crystal down here as well. This one on top probably won't weigh any more than a carat, but that doesn't matter. The colour makes up for it, and certainly the brightness. It's a brightness of 5, even in the shade. I mean, take a look at that, it just kicks off in the shade as well. It's phenomenal, it really is, and I'm incredibly happy. So the lucky hat has pulled through, and you guys are going to have to wait for part 3 to see what gems we can finish out of this. I hope you're enjoying this little mini-series that this opal is presenting us. The carving did us a great justice at the start, and now all of our hard work is paying off.